This is also the home of Jazz at Lincoln Center. We're happy to have you in our home this evening. And just want to let you know to be aware of all those spaces around you. They will be filled with music from the pen of Mr. Wynton Marsalis. Now, please join me in welcoming to the Rose Theater stage the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra with Wynton Marsalis.
Thank you very much. Welcome, as always, to House of Swing. You know, when I was growing up, people would actually refer to animals as if they were people. They would say, well, that old rooster is just waking up trying to see what kind of trouble he can get in. He just walked right down the street aggravating everybody on his way to them hens. Part of this, of course, came from Brer Rabbit, who became Bugs Bunny. But I always thought that just like people, any individual animal could also be very different from all others in the species. And though there are basic characteristics of any group, there's also an astounding variety that can easily go unobserved. So it's not just a chicken, it's that particular chicken. Spaces as a piece is designed to account for both basic characteristics and variations, and also for their space and the existence that is inhabited and created by every animal that exists. Some 24 years ago, Jazz at Lincoln Center collaborated with the New York City Ballet on a piece entitled Jazz: Six Syncopated Movements. In the company was a young principal dancer who now directs the Vail Dance Festival and the Aspen Institute Arts Program. Now, this was back when we both could read this kind of writing without squinting. I called him to lend his immense creative talents, intellectual curiosity, and deep understanding of form and of improvisation and of integration to choreograph this ballet. It's our honor to recognize Mr. Damien Wetzel. Damien is in the audience. Damien Wetzel. The two gentlemen you're going to see tonight, they truly are geniuses. It's such an honor. I'm so proud to share the stage with them, as we all are. We've been in rehearsal just looking at them, and our eyes are popping out of our heads. Not just the dexterity, but just the intelligence, the presence of mind, the knowledge of culture, and the feeling that they bring to everything. I'm honored to be up here with them. We're going to start with the most perennial of all animals, the chicken. Now, if you include eggs, the chicken is the most present animal in the world. But don't you let their presence on your plate fool you. Chickens can understand sophisticated concepts, and they have a complexity of sounds and alarms and things that mean all kind of stuff, from get out of here to get out my way. They're also amongst the very few animals that can achieve REM. So when they're sleeping, they're dreaming about how can we not end up on plates. And you better not disrespect that yard bird, because it is the closest living relative to the great T-Rex. Jared Grimes. Jared Grimes. Lil Buck. Marcus Printup. Now there are 264 different species of monkeys that we know about today. They fall into two categories, Old World and New World. As you might suspect, the Old World monkeys come from Asia and Africa, while the New World monkeys live right here in the Americas. Now, you know, our monkeys, they just love to watch. And then when something happens, they just break out in all kind of chatter and all types of monkey shine and monkey business and monkeying around. But in the end, when you ask them, it's all see no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil. This dance begins with the New World monkeys and all their loose tongue signifying. Then it transitions to the Old World when Ali goes to the snare drum. And in the Old World, there's a mythic belief that the monkey is an ancient shaman able to see all that is hidden. Jerry Grimes. Now, elephants are the truly ancient ones. They're the great trumpeters. They're the great trumpeters. They're the great trumpeters. And they're the largest land animals on earth. They were known as the strongest warriors, the mount of kings, and a symbol of good luck. Hannibal even had the temerity to try to cross the Alps with them. And he made it with quite a few of them. Yes, they're strong and wise giants, but they also, you might not know, they have very sensitive skin. They use Dove. And they're also afraid of ants and bees. Elephants are empathetic. They feel grief and loss just like us, and they celebrate the return of friends. And also, just like us, they can hold terrible grudges. They must be from New Orleans. This piece is about them and those little oxpecker birds that are always hitching rides on them. We're going to give Vince and Carlos and the low instruments a chance to dance up top, and Lil Buck is going to have a chance to take it where it needs to go. This is entitled Pachyderm Shout. Little Buck. Little Buck. Vincent Gardner on the tuba. Carlos Enriquez on the bass. Dan Nimmer on the piano. Chris Crenshaw on the trombone. Now the frog is a symbol of transformation and renewal. In some cultures, he is a sign of good luck and fertility and wealth, abundance. While in others, he brings nothing but bad news. Well, we used to believe that if a frog peed on you, you could get warts. You know you believed it too if you're above a certain age. At one time, a Mesopotamian goddess turned someone she loved into a frog. Then, of course, the princess, not this goddess, but a princess a long time after that, kissed a frog. And they ate frog legs later that night. Frogs are land and water, fish, and dinosaur. A group of frogs is called an army. And some frogs can jump over 20 times their own body length, like Jared. Now, if somebody says they're feeling froggish, you better be careful, because something is about to jump off. This piece takes us from sitting to walking to jumping like crazy. It's a frog boil, and Jared is master of the flames. Jerry Grimes, Lil Buck, Damian Wetzel. That's right, don't be shy, get up. That's right, in the house. That's it. Now I always like to say that I'm from the South, but penguins are truly Southern. And if you're not from Antarctica or deep, deep South America, South Africa, New Zealand, or the Galapagos Islands, let me tell you something. Forget about them. You're not going to see them. You have to make a house call and go sit with them, as they say in the South. They're famous for a tuxedo dress. It gives them an elegant countenance. And it's endearing because they have the awkward walk and they have the elegant dress. But actually, this black and white dress is camouflage. You see, it keeps them safe from predators hunting both above and below. If you're below, you look up and you see white, you think it's the top of the water. If you're above, you look down and you see black, you think you're looking into the deep. Penguins are slick. They're very playful, and they're considered the most social of birds. That's why they keep their tuxedo on. But you know what? Despite all of this fellowshipping, they always bring the same date to every dance. They are mainly monogamous. You can't find one that's had a divorce. This piece brings us down to a display of high society and high-minded, waddling elegance. Mr. Penguin, please. Jared Grimes, Lil Buck, Damian Wetzel, the maestro Damian Sneed. We are the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra. Thank you very, very much. We'll be back in 15 minutes. Thank you.
I am so thrilled to be a part of this season at Jazz at Lincoln Center. Jazz at Lincoln Center is it when it comes to this kind of music and performing at a high level, and so I just feel really honored that I can be included in something this awesome.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. A tisket, a tasket, a brown and yellow basket. I sent a letter to my mommy on the way.
I come in with the shoes and I create havoc. It's the most creative havoc you can think of. The first song I danced to professionally was Stop in the Name of Love by the Supremes. I was like 6 years old, delivering the basics in the most ferocious way possible that a 6-year-old can. It was slow enough that I could syncopate in double time. And they give you enough production to kind of lean on musically. At the same time, it gives you enough space to kind of create as well. I'll forever remember that solo. Maybe around like 9, that's when I really could decipher what pop music was and what jazz music was. One of my favorite jazz tunes, I say A-Train is pretty much one of my favorites, man. That for me was one of the first songs that I recognized was a jazz song. Being a part of this season with Jazz Lincoln Center, it's almost like I'm back home. I'm like the little rugrat of the group, the troublemaker with the tap shoes. Since 2007, this is kind of something I've been doing each season, shows here and there, or going on tour with the Jazz Lincoln Center Orchestra. Sometimes I'll just kind of accompany certain songs with tap shoes, and other shows I'll go in the whole time, you know, toe to toe. It's fun, like, you know, they treat me like an instrument. As a tap dancer, that's a high honor, I would say.
Oye, familia. Anda.
Jared Grimes. Derek Grimes. Walter Blandy. Kenny Rampton. Ali Jackson. Now, in antiquity, the bee was believed to be the sacred insect that bridged the natural world to the underworld. Bees are the only insects in the world that make something that human beings can eat and like. And because bacteria cannot grow in honey, even the honey found in the tombs of the pharaohs is still edible. We don't know who survived eating it, but they ate it. Bees have an incredible social structure. First, there's the queen. Everything is about the queen. She's the reason for everything the rest of the colony does. Second, there's the all-female force of workers. They look for food, they build, they protect the hive, they clean and they circulate air by beating their wings, and they get paid less. Last, not in this case though. Last but not least, there are the male bees, which are called drones. Let me tell you what they have. They don't even get to have stingers. They don't gather food. Their sole purpose is to mate with a fertile queen. So guess what? Guess what happens to you if you don't have a fertile queen? They live in the hive during the spring and the summer, but come winter, guess what happens to them? Out. And without a stinger, they're not going to last that long. For our purposes tonight, we're going to deal with bees as a collective. And if you ever make one of them mad, you better watch out, because all of a sudden, all of their relatives are there. This is the final movement. It's entitled Bees, Bees, Bees. Lil Buck, Jared Grimes, Damian Wetzel, Damian Wetzel, Damian Sneed, our conductor, Dan Nimmer, Carlos Enriquez, Ali Jackson, Dan Block, Ted Nash, Sherman Irby, Walter Blanding, Paul Netzella, Elliot Mason, Vincent Gardner, Chris Crenshaw, Kenny Rampton, Marcus Printup, Ryan Kaiser, Little Buck, Jared Grimes, Damian Wetzel, Damian Sneed. We are the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra. Ali Jackson, once again, because it's fun to say his name. Thank you all very, very much for coming out tonight to the House of Swing. Thank you to John and Jody Arnold for making this possible. Thank you. Enjoy the House of Swing. Have a great night. Thank you so very much. Good night.